Hello, welcome to another spiritual service online with Cumberland Heights. This is a brief time to share a message with you about kind of what our patients are experiencing and talking about this week in terms of spirituality and recovery. I do want to make a note because the weather turned very suddenly, and I just want to say a word acknowledging all the people out on the street who live outside because they are homeless and don't have access to resources. That with this sudden weather turn, I know that it caused a lot of hardship and probably put some people in jeopardy because of the extreme cold that happens this time of year. And so I just want to lift up a prayer for all those people. We know that a lot of people, most of the people who are homeless, struggle with some kind of mental illness or substance abuse problem. It's often what leads them to be homeless. And so this is a concern for me, not far from what we do every day here. Those are people who need the kind of treatment we provide, but don't often get access to it. So I think about them at this time of year and pray for those who step up at this time of year and provide resource shelters for those in need. So I want to share with you this beautiful poem that we use today in the spiritual service. It's called Make Me. God, who touches earth with beauty, make me lovely too. With your spirit recreate me, make my heart anew. Like your springs and running waters, make me crystal pure. Like your rocks of towering grandeur, make me strong and sure. Like your dancing waves and sunlight, make me glad and free. Let the straightness of the pine trees, let me upright be. Like the arching of the heavens, lift my thoughts above. Turn my dreams to noble actions, ministries of love. God, who touches earth with beauty, make me lovely too. Keep me ever by your spirit, pure and strong and true. So we went over that poem this morning in service, and then I talked about one of my favorite things to do this time of year, which you may have heard me talk about before. It's river walking, basically. So this time of year, especially with the way that the weather's turned so cold, we experience a safe haven kind of amidst the trees along the river here. I don't live very far from the Harpeth. Cumberland Heights, while it's on the Cumberland, is only a few miles north of the Harpeth. And the Harpeth, for me, is my special place. It runs through the south side of Nashville. But any river will do that you feel safe walking in. And the Harpeth is special because it runs through so many little cities on this lower side of town and suburbs, and yet when you get down to the river and the trees are growing up the sides, it can be a place of stillness and quiet. And it's a beautiful place to just kind of convene with nature and with God. And so it's a place I like to go this time of year because all the rafting and kayaking is over for the season and the water is usually very low. And I like to walk the riverbed, put on some water shoes, get in the cold water. It's actually really good for you to kind of do that. It shocks your system. It can help reset a lot of things in your nervous system to have some cold water. And so I go and I get relief, and it's a form of meditation. But when I walk the riverbed, I like to look for things. There's lots of golf balls in there, lots of things that have been pushed in the river by the strong winds of tornadoes and thunderstorms. So there's a lot of trash in there too, but there's also a lot of beautiful nature. And so I like to look for shells like this one. And this is my favorite. This is a special one to me. I keep it in a little prayer box that I have. But this beautiful shell is one that I plucked out of the Harpeth. when I do this, I like to clean these up and then give them away to people to be used. If you're one of those people who thinks I shouldn't be pulling things out of nature because this is a part of the ecosystem, I really apologize. But besides that, cleaning it up and drying it out, it can be really useful as a dish to hold things. So this is my beautiful shell, and there's so much metaphor behind what I experience when I find one of these shells and then clean it up and make it into this beautiful thing. I actually didn't make any of this beautiful. I just revealed what was already there by cleaning it. So I think about how this shell got to the bottom of the river. It was a living thing that died and eventually split in half, and the water pushed it down into the sediment, and it became a place for other things to grow on. It became covered in dirt from the bottom of the river. It became covered in algae that was growing on it. It became covered with little tiny snails that were looking for a home, and it was being weighed down by the weight of the water rushing over it. And I think that's a bit like us in our disease. We are in the stream of our life and we just feel crushed by the water running over us. And all these things, as we are stuck in the muck, just kind of grow on us with time. Things like resentments and wounds that we carry. Things like shame and guilt over who we've been and what we've done. Things like hopeless beliefs that we're doomed for this life, that we don't deserve better, that better's not possible for us. Things like character flaws that really affect our relationships in our life. All this is growing on us over time as we're pushed down on the water. And then life comes along, God comes along and plucks us from the river. Whatever brought you into recovery, it had that kind of force of me fishing this suddenly out of the river. It could have been something that you woke up and decided you needed. It could have been support and encouragement from family and friends that brought you here. It could have been the systems of the world that we live in forcing you to do recovery, even though you didn't want to. But in whatever way you got to recovery, God was working through it, and God used that opportunity to pluck you out of the river. But being pulled out of the river, it's incredibly relieving to not have the weight of that water crushing us down. That's pretty much 1 through 3, right? I'm going to get plucked from the river. This life at the bottom is not one I want to live, and I want to be set free. And I need something bigger than me to free me from this life and bring me into a new one. And yet, that is not enough. There's a reason there are 12 steps, not 3. Because simply being plucked from the river is not enough. Obviously, I didn't find this shell looking like this when I took it out. It took time, it took effort, it took help from a little bit of soap to kind of clean it off and reveal its true beauty. So we don't come out of the river and stay out of the river and live a beautiful life just simply by being plucked out. It takes work as well. This is 4 through 7. This is where we really take a look at the stuff that's been growing on us as we've been in the bottom of that river. What are the wounds? What are the fears? What are the false beliefs we carry? What are the resentments we hold on to? What are the things we've done wrong that we can't forgive ourselves for? What's been growing on us? We take a look at that and then we share it with somebody else. And then in 6 and 7, we ask our higher power to come and scrub us clean. Now, those things that we do in those steps, we work through defects of character. You might call these shortcomings. You might call these flaws. You might call these issues. You might call these maladapted behaviors. But whatever you call them, they're things about our personality that we have put on over time to make our way in the world. And these flaws we have lived with for so long, this stuff that's gunked up over our shell, we've lived with for so long that we start to conflate that with who we think we really are. And so we see 6 and 7 as painful and difficult because we think it's about changing who we are into someone else. I don't really think that's how 6 and 7 work. 6 and 7 is not about changing who you were into someone else. It's about being revealed for who you really are. We allow the things that have been gunked up on us, growing on us for years, to be cleaned off. And underneath that, we are revealed in our true beauty as we were made. Each one of you is as beautiful as this shell in the way you were created. The gunk that has grown on you does not determine who you are. Who you are is underneath. But in order for that to be seen and experienced through 6 and 7, we must allow our life experience, the people around us, and the God of our understanding to start scrubbing those things away. This is called transformation by one of my favorite spiritual teachers. When the old falls away, often not of our own doing. So that's what we're talking about. We are talking about a life not where we are just plucked out of the river and we stay the same way as we are. But we are plucked out of the river and given a chance to be cleaned off and made new. Be given a chance for our true beauty to be revealed by a power greater than ourselves and the work that we are willing to do with its help. God who touches earth and beauty, make me lovely too. Keep me ever by your spirit, pure and strong and true. Amen. So if you'll pray with me. God, thank you for the way that you've provided liberation from the rivers of our lives, that you have plucked us out where we have felt stuck, and you have allowed us the beauty of the relief of being free. But God, help us continue to see that there's more work to be done, that our true self has yet to be revealed, and that we truly are as beautiful as this shell underneath all the stuff that is piled up on us over time. God, give us the willingness to do that work, to allow you to scrub away the things that we no longer need, the things that cause us problems, the things that obscure who we really are, and help us to be made new in the light of your Spirit. Amen. As always, I'm going to add a link into this video for our spiritual funds if you would like to donate. Every little bit can make a difference in helping someone potentially get help transitioning to sober living or get a special need met while they're here if they don't have the ability to meet that need on their own. These funds are used for a variety of purpose, but mostly it's helping people ready to make a change and give sober living a try, scholarship them into their first week of sober living. So if you're so inclined, please click the link and donate, and we'll be seeing you soon.